on Facebook at Pan African Television, live on YouTube as well. Those of you watching us on Facebook, you can share the Facebook live post for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. You can join in the conversation. Good evening and welcome to your most authoritative evening political show in the country, Hot News. We are live on Pan African Television. We are also live on Facebook at Pan African. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can share the Facebook Live for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. You can join in the conversation by sending your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp to text line displayed on your screen. We'll make a time and read on those out for you. Can leave your questions, suggestions, comments, and whatnot on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. My name is Justice Appiah. Tonight on Hot News, we are looking at litany of issues, couple of issues. We'll be looking at the state of insecurity in the country. You know that today a bullion van has been attacked at Adidenko near Kolebu. A policeman, guarding the van has been shot dead. An eyewitness also shot dead. The driver of the van is in a critical condition at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital as it stands now. This is not the first time this is happening. A lot more have happened in the country. What are the security services doing about some of these issues? A statement has been issued by the IGP. We'll be reading that statement pretty shortly. Also, we'll be looking at a statement made by former President John Ejekun Kufuor when he was interviewed by a colleague journalist, Kofi Adoma Wangweni, on Kofi TV. And what did he say? He talked about the fact that, today's economic hardship is as a result of lack of vision and planning on the side of, the previous leaders. And specifically, I think that was being referred to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, because he talked about the fact that we didn't wait, we didn't plan. Right after independence, we just went into industrialization, and that could probably be the reasons why we are having economic quagmire today. We'll be looking at that pretty shortly. But before I play the voice of former President John Ejekun Kufuor, now let's go and watch the video of the attack on the bullion van. When we come back, I read the statement, then we move to the other video. Let's go and watch. We'll be right back. Well, that was what transpired today at Adidenko near Kolebu, where the policeman guarding the bullion van was actually shot dead instantly. And then also an eyewitness was actually hit by a stray bullet. That's what we've been told, actually. She's also dead. The driver of the van, we're told, is in critical condition at the Kolebo Teaching Hospital. But the Ghana Police Service has issued a statement, and a statement I want to read pretty shortly, and it says, press release, the media, investigation of Jamestown bullion van attack. And it says the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Mr. James Opon Bueno, has directed the Director General Criminal Investigations Department to take over the investigation into the attack on a bullion van at Adedempo, a suburb of Jamestown in Accra, on 14 June 2021, which led to the murder of 8 police officers. Preliminary investigation shows that unidentified armed men on a number of motorbikes crossed the bullion van, which was on a pay collection errand at about 11:00 hours, and shot at a police officer who was on escort duty on the van, killing him instantly. The armed men also fired sporadically in the air and on the driver, who sustained gunshot wounds, and it's responding to treatment. It says a hawker was also killed by the armed men when one of the 2 ladies on the bullion van stepped out of the van and ran towards the deceased seller's direction. Both ladies on the van, tellers of Montran, escaped unhurt but were sent to the hospital to be treated for trauma. Crime scene experts have already visited the scene of crime and are going through the necessary procedures. The IGP is also reminding the Association of Bankers to provide fortified armored vehicles for cutting currencies by the close of June 2021, as earlier agreed between them and the police service, lest the police withdraws its officers for escort duties. Meanwhile, anyone with information on the Jamestown bullion van attack or incident should contact the nearest police station or call the investigative team on 0262 122 086, 0262 122 086, 0244 99 4564, 0244 99 4564, or 0244 28 0001, 0244 28 0001, or until free police emergency number 191 or 18555. The toll-free numbers are 191 or 18555. And this statement is signed by Mrs. Sheila Appiah Bachman, Superintendent of Police, Director, Public Affairs, and that is the statement issued by the Ghana Police Service on the incident as of today. We'll be looking at generally the insecurity issues, the state of insecurity in the country currently. But away from that particular story, one of the stories or one of the topics we're going to be discussing is on an interview conducted by a colleague journalist with former President John Ejikun Kufuor. Let's briefly go and listen to what the former president has been saying. We'll be right back.
It may be more. I say you're good. A woman say India, and so a fan one, and who's a Kayan chef. And I say, okay.
Sabi abrofo ya kan prepare bebre na won sabi won 5 sisa nyama ne ade koye no mo ya no so o mama mo no mo di ba ha no won mama mo no won bra ansa na won nya hundreds of years won mo ba ya no so mo fai sabi won saswa won bu ya sabi nipa nke bi omo betu wa train se na omo sisho me ma na nka yaso ehu wo ma nyansa wo be fine no mu sabi won mu kwa me na nam ya na fe ba se actually mu bi nya kwan kosua ngoma brochire hu se na omusi show mu nyama ebi kwa America na ya ni nya fa ho die no ya fiti prakon apɛ se be industrialize until NCC factories. Okay, First Republic factories bang. Ubisi factory sika footro na wo Bank of Ghana no. So time we 6 million people no. Na reserves no. Oh sha, one head no about is a billion kora. Because that time in 57 na base $400 million. Yeah, oh sha nanka. Ufa Gold Coast be Ghana. O de tutu ni anuma latafo, de tutu Singapore no ni women yabubo mu ni. Na nka nye bia na Korea fo no mu ncha yen kora. 4 years pa yenya independence. And Sakura ni ebedu 10 million people. Sa reserves ni nyina no. Nasa. Wuti na meka tro. Anam say ya di meka ki ya pese instant ya factory. Shoe factory, leather factory, wait. Ya ntu abo hu se. Foto no asanke hyehyɛ ya pase ya akwan ya factories ni ade na foto no so ya nya kwan ya ya ma foto no ni we dia dia nsa kobo the Bubaka capital. You don't chop your capital, rather professor with the capital be adwuma eno na we di kakra we di bi na di biasa kwa capital ya nya nsa anu na my economy no ya tie ni na dafo by 61-62. Meanwhile, we don't Sabia Huanon. Oh, if it's ideology, if it's left of center, socialism, oh, to the extent the class communism. We in Russia for history. Only near 1917, Lenin moved to him for near Diaguya. We have history. It's in your copy. China. Baby, I'm not a member in Anna, Donim. Ya chat atare asia mna obia na mkuruku. Uni mom history. Ya kusua sadia.
Welcome back. That was former President John on State of the Nation when he was interviewed by a colleague journalist, Kofi Adomawanweni. The former president was of the view that, well, we were in a haste to industrialize this country right after independence, and that would probably be the reasons why we have had ourselves in this situation and all of that, especially the economic hardship of the country. He also touched on the Fix the Ghana campaign. What the former president said is that, well, it wasn't as if, this country was fixed and somebody has come to destroy it until the pressure on this government to fix the country, those persons should actually stop. Well, I don't know. But I have my guests in the studio. I've been joined by Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Sedu Dapila. Honorable, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.
For the invite.
Also in the studio is Nana Appiah, who is a member of the New Patriotic Party communications team. Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Justice.
All right, thank you all so much for joining me. But I'll start with you, Honorable, on the state of insecurity in the country. Every now and then we hear of, armed robbery attacks and all of that. And today is of no exception, where a bullion van was actually attacked. In this case, a police officer, has been shot dead. A hawker who happens to be an eyewitness also shot dead. The driver of the van is, as a matter of fact, in critical condition at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Your take on this?
Thank you, Justice. Let me say good evening to yourself and the entire crew of Pan-African TV, your cherished viewers, my good brother from the MPP side that is here. But he's not here to defend MPP, he's here to contribute to the program. Let me say good evening to the good people of Jirapa constituency and all our distinguished viewers.
Very well.
Justice, before I say anything, let me say my condolences to the young police officer who lost his life in the course of duty, and the lady that also lost her life. My condolences to the family, and you know, this loss is just not to the family. The entire country is in grief. A young police officer who was full of life, who honestly, you know, was probably a breadwinner of his family, will lose his life needlessly like this. I think it's a worrying situation. We ought to all look at what we can do to you know, protect our police officers who are on duty. And Justice, let me add that we have to look at the entire police structure, the kind of policing that we are doing in this country. We have to try to go, you know, we have to do sophisticated policing. We need to look at what technology we can use when these things happen, even to ensure that it doesn't even happen. We can't do it. You know, I want to start by recommending that, you see, one, those vans that the financial institutions are using are not bullion vans. Okay. We call them bullion vans. They are not. They are just normal cars. Pickups. They are normal pickups that we are using. That is what will call for armed robbers to be interested. They know they can attack those vehicles. You understand? So first and foremost, the vehicles that they are using, we should condemn the institutions. You see, they should try to do the right thing. What is the required vehicle? Yeah, the required vehicle is a bulletproof, you know, proper bullion vans are there. Okay. When you see Bank of Ghana when they are carrying money, you see how they move. You understand? The type of vehicles that they use, the kind of policing, the kind of protection that they give their money when they are carrying this money, that is what we are not doing. You understand? Especially when we are carrying money within town. You know, we think that it is only on the long stretches that the armed robbers can attack. So when we are taking money, for instance, money from Bank of Ghana, Accra to the Upper West region, then you try to give them the right police protection. Even there's military attached and all of that, you know. Now, we forget that these things can happen in our towns. So, first and foremost, the financial institutions, the vans that they are using, we should try to stop them. If they cannot do the right thing, we need to close them. You understand? Secondly, Justice, I will also want to say that we have to look at the structure of the police system. You understand? How do we protect these young police officers when we are sending them out for duties like this? What do we give them? How do we protect them? You understand? What kind of policing are we doing? You see, you send these young officers out, we don't give them the right protection. Some of them, you go and see them on duty. They are there without even a gun. They don't have anything to protect themselves. That is what we do as senior officers, and I think it's condemnable. Okay. None of them will go on duty. Even they that are officers, go and look at how the other young officers protect them. They want protection anywhere that they are going. Yeah, these young officers, when we send them out for duty, we leave them to their own mercy, and that is not fair. In 2019, I heard the Vice President talking about the fact that police officers on duty will always wear bulletproof jackets and all of that. And I don't think it's happening. You see, I think he's part of the police council. Or is he the chairman? Is he the chairman? He's the chairman of the police council. And I think that whatever that he sees, he should ensure that it happens. That is why many people also think that he talks too much, you know, without action. Well, this thing, he said it in 2019. We are in 2021. It's still not happening. Probably if this young officer were to be in some kind of bulletproof, this thing would not happen. You see. So for me, we have to look at all these things in our police system. The kind of, we should provide them with logistics, you know, the logistics and you know, that they need to do their job. We ought to be very serious and provide them with these logistics.
Okay.
Lastly, I'm worried about the kind of the political recruitment that we are doing in our police service.
Yeah.
If we, with the kind of people that we train, the kind of people that we bring together and train them, call them police officers, it's also something that we need to look at. You understand? The system must work. Let's try to get the right people that can do the job, people that when they undergo training, you know, we just have to stop the political recruitment. There are many people who just, you know, oh, my uncle recommended that they should take me, and I'm there. You understand? That is not his interest area. It's a job. It's a job he wants. And I think that is what is happening in today's Ghana. Those that actually can do the job, even those in the colonial days, colonial policing, you saw that they were always looking for people who were stout, people who were, when you see the person, you know that this person, even without the training, but he can do some kind of policing. It's not happening today. You understand? So I think that we have to look at that one too. We have to look at that one too. Otherwise, these things will continuously happening, and it's not helping society. Let me add that. The police council, the composition of the police council. You see, there are some in an institution like the police council or the police. We should not play politics with it. We shouldn't let politics come into this at all. We should allow people who are qualified. Let's recruit them. You know, people that are supposed to be in any position, let's promote them. Let's let the system. People should rise naturally through the structures, not by the fact that my party is in power, so I should be in charge of this, I should be in charge of that. When we politicize security in this country, then we are going nowhere. We are going nowhere. The banks and the financial institutions, they should be able to protect themselves. They shouldn't be using these police officers the way they are using them. I don't even know how much income they give to the police service when they engage these police. You know, look at this young man, his life is lost. You know, what is it? Needlessly. Just as an advice to the police themselves. Anytime you are on duty as a police officer, they should be alert. Some of them, when you go and see them on their duty post, they are so relaxed, they are chatting on their phones, they think that nothing can happen. You understand? This young man, the way I look at his stature, I know if he was alert in the car, I tell you that this young man could deal with this armed robbers. But
what this we are told that, I mean, these were persons on motorbikes, a lot of them, and they were shooting sporadically. They were shooting indiscriminately, and as a result,
yes, that is why I'm telling you that. That's why I'm telling you that if you at least he has a gun, isn't it?
Right.
So if he was alert, I don't know. He could have once at least you hear a gunshot as a police officer. I don't think the first shot got him. I'm not sure about that. You understand? But sometimes they are so relaxed on the job because he feels that, oh, it is town. I'm within town. Nothing can happen. So they are even there chatting, talking to each other, friendly talk instead of to be alert that anything can happen. That is one of the things, advice that I'll give to the police themselves, especially those who go on duty within the banking institutions and all of that. Anywhere at all that you are on duty as a police officer, do not think that nothing untoward can happen. Anything can happen. That's the reason why you are there. So you should be very alert at any point in time that anything can happen, so that you can take cover or can protect yourself or protect the property that you are supposed to protect. That is my advice to the police officers. Very sorry, very, very sorry to the family. Very, very condemnable act. Our society should try to make sure that we give information about these people. We know them. People know them, but they will not report. And also when they report, what action is taken? Nothing. That's the problem. You understand? Justice, you and I are here. If we even know these people and we go and tell them, we go and inform the police that these are the people who did this, they stay here. Don't be surprised that they will come after you. That is one thing I notice about giving information or intelligence to the Ghana Police Service. When you talk, they will come and say, no, it's not true. That's not how they work. But I have a personal experience, which I will not want to share here.
Well.
You understand? I have a personal experience giving information about criminals. You do that, then the same police will go and tell the criminal that it is this person who brought the information. And they cannot even take the person. He will fight his way to come out. And you and your family, you are dead. That is one thing I noticed. So for me, the Ghana Police Service should be up and doing. The Ghana Police, the leadership of the police service, the IGP, and all the senior officers. Are we happy that this young man is dead like this? Are we happy? We are all not happy. We will talk about investigations. They will constitute a committee. Nothing will come out of this. Nothing will come out of this. I will call for proper compensation to the young man who just lost his life. We cannot, I'm not saying that people should die for us to give compensation. But it has happened. What do we do? Let's try to get a good package for the family, because he died in the course of duty. We cannot just go and buy a coffin, go and do the ceremonial burial, the 21-gun salute, and think that that is all of it. No, we should adequately compensate the family. And I, as a member of parliament, I'm going to monitor this issue. If they don't do that, I will raise issues in parliament. And I'm telling the Defense and Interior Committee to put an eye on this issue. Make sure the right information, the right investigations are done, is conducted. And they should make sure that proper and adequate compensation is given to the family. Even the young lady that died, she came to look for something to survive. And you understand? And she cannot die like that. The police should protect lives and property. You understand? In this case, the young lady died, in the course of trying to survive, and yet her family too should be compensated. May Allah forgive them of their sins.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable, for your submission. We are so grateful for that submission. Now let me come to Nana Appiah. Nana, do you think that our security services have been equipped enough to be able to handle some of these situations, especially looking at how, the armed robbers are invading, the country in recent times? You know that it is not just about these bullion vans. We've had several of this, but mobile money vendors are also attacked day in, day out. Some have been killed. I mean, houses are attacked day in, day out and all of that. You realize that this is becoming rampant. And it looks like anytime it happens, these persons are hardly, apprehended and all of that. Do you think that the Ghana Police Service is lacking something? What do you think that might be the problem why these people are not, traced and be, apprehended appropriately?
Thank you very much, Justice. First of all, let me use this opportunity to wish my fellow MPP members a good evening. And also, let me just say that it's a very difficult time for the family of the policeman who's just been shot, and the other hawker who's also been shot, and the driver was shot, but I've heard he's in the hospital and he's getting some treatment. First of all, I would say that the police or the security agencies have not been equipped as much as they ought to. That's the first thing I'm going to say. And I'll give an instance before I continue. Just about a week ago, I was driving in town just from the Parliament area going towards the Moving Pick Road. And when I got to the traffic lights at the National Theatre, it was red, so I had stopped. And there was just a car before me. All I saw was that two young men on a motorbike just went ahead of us, parked the motorbike. They had this very little bags in front of them. They opened it, they pulled up guns, started shooting in the air, went straight towards a dispatch rider, took the bag the dispatch rider had behind him, and sped off. So it tells me that this is a very big issue that the current government of this country needs to address. Many years ago, we had some of these challenges, and they came up with this Operation Calm Life. And it was able to, in a way, sort of calm the situation. So I believe that the Security Council, the Police Council should come together, find lasting solution to this menace. For me, I feel like one of the main reasons why there's been this upsurge of robbery and all that is the issue of unemployment. It's the issue of the youth not having anything to do, anything to live for. Now you realize that we are trying to stop Galamsey and all that. People in these Galamsey areas were earning some money. Now they've stopped. Life must go on for them. What are they doing? All these people are going to get onto the streets and find ends meet. Okay. So we need to find a way of getting these things done. You know, another issue that we need to consider, worth considering, is this political recruitment that Honorable spoke about. You know, our service recruitments have become so difficult that it is only possible when you know a minister, know an MP, somebody on the Security and Defense Committee, you know, so it's gradually becoming members of a ruling party that get into the security service. Yes, I'm an MPP. Look at what happened at Ayawaso West Wagon. There was a committee. People, even in the security, national security, are not properly trained. So you realize that these people don't have the requisite skills. I go around Accra and I see cameras everywhere, almost on every street. So what is happening? Why are we able to say that this camera was able to pick the motor registration number of these robbers? So I ask myself, what is the purpose of these cameras that we have paid so much for? You know, this is gradually becoming a dangerous situation for the country. You know, the second thing I'd like to talk about is that we need to find a way of digitizing and improving the way our policing is done. Sometimes you drive on the street, you meet this MTTB policeman, and even the way they approach you. Recently I was driving somewhere, a policeman stops me and he says that, my son, can you please give me money for hand sanitizer? Because our sanitizers are done. Yeah. So the professionalism that comes with the service has been thrown to the dogs. So we are not able to even know how to use modern technology to fight crime. We are still looking for this old way of doing things. Look at even some of the cars that the police use. Look at some of the cars that these armed robbers are using. Look at the guns that are used by the police. Look at the guns that these armed robbers are using. You realize that it's a no match until maybe there's a clear exchange of fire between maybe a joint military police team and armed robbers. You realize that most of the times the guns that these robbers are using far outweigh the ones that the security agents are using. Some of these AK-47s they are using have not been properly maintained or properly, should I say, fixed over the years. These guns have been in existence or been with the service for maybe 10, 20 years. They've not been changed. So these have become issues that we need to look into. The Ghana Police Service has social media handles. They have Twitter, they have Facebook and all that. I personally sent a tweet to the police. Okay. Because of something I experienced with a police officer. Okay. Until today, the tweet has not even been responded to. So you realize that our security agencies need to be up and doing. We need clear policy direction on security in this country. When this country, when
responsibility is it to get that done?
Well, it happens to be that of the government. Yes, and you see, I don't want to limit this security issue to one government. Exactly, yeah. Because I can go on and on. We were in this country when the former national organizer of the NDC, Honorable Yabuatinjan, my boss, actually formed a mini security within the NDC when we were getting to election. And we were calling it Yabuatinjan Police. So I don't want to limit it to a particular political party. You get the point?
I'm hearing you're watching young police for the first time.
Really? Check Kokoku, check Peace FM online.
I'm hearing you're watching.
This is something that was in the media. We spoke about it, and you see, I can give you another example. Just because you're a ladies, I'll give you just one more example, and I'll give it to you for free. We were in this country when our former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, appointed an MC of a particular place. I forgot it. The people in the constituency and the district said they do not approve of the person that the president has appointed. They attacked the police of the police station in the area. Maybe you didn't hear about that too.
Wait. Give specific.
I will check it. Maybe when you're speaking, I'll check it online.
Yeah.
Based online.
These are wild ones. So
I'm telling you, I'll check it online. Yes. So all I'm saying is that we don't need to politicize some of these things. This is a very serious issue. I'm telling you about one that I experienced just next to the National Theatre. That traffic light. Just last week. My life could have been, my life was in danger actually. So it's not something that I want to politicize. We must critically look at the recruitment into our security services. We must critically look at how we are training our security officers. Listen, the world has gone past this old way of maltreating people, mishandling people at the police station and all that. You see, we need to use cutting-edge technology. My brother made mention of the fact that the vice president said that all policemen that are attacked to banks should wear bulletproof. The guy was actually in a bulletproof. If you look at the video,
was he in a?
He was shot in the head. I was just looking at the video in my car before I came up here. The guy was shot in the head.
But he wasn't in a bulletproof.
He was.
He wasn't in.
He was.
Check it.
He was shot in the head.
I'm being told, but with the little checks I did.
No, he wasn't in a bulletproof.
Well, I stand to be corrected, but the little checks I did, I'm being told that he was in a bulletproof. You see, mind you, these days the bulletproof jackets that are in, some of them are as light as your underwear, your singlet. The president wears bulletproof everywhere. It's not a very big one that we see the military and that wearing. So sometimes, you see, that's what I'm saying, that we have cutting-edge technology that we can use in today's, in present times to halt all these things. I don't see why a policeman who is actually attached to a bank, that is moving money from one point to another on his phone.
I didn't see this gentleman in bulletproof.
Okay.
With all the videos.
That's what I'm saying, that some of the bulletproof you can't see.
I'm asking,
it's not a very big one.
Without admitting that he was in the bulletproof. The promise made by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is that all police officers who are going to be on duty are going to be in a bulletproof. The question is, do we have all police officers on duty in bulletproof as promised by the Vice President?
Thank you for your question. Like I'm saying, I wouldn't know whether all the policemen attached to banks are in bulletproof. I wouldn't know.
Not just banks, but other police officers on other assignments.
Yes, and I'm saying that I wouldn't know whether they are in bulletproof just because some of the bulletproofs in today's world are so light that if I'm wearing one here, you wouldn't know.
You do hear that government has, procured bulletproofs.
I heard about
the Ghana Police Service.
I am repeating again that some of the bulletproofs, if I even wear it here, you wouldn't notice it. And I give you a simple example that the president, the vice president, they wear bulletproof all the time. But they are the very light ones that you wouldn't know. It's not a very bulky, bumpy one that you see the military guys wearing around and everything. So even if the guy was in a bulletproof, we wouldn't know. Or even if the other police officers who are tied to banks or on official assignments are in bulletproofs, we wouldn't know. All I'm saying is that we should have a system of checking some of these things, that these guys are in bulletproofs. If a bank has money in transit, what are some of the measures that we can use? Listen, we've seen the Bank of Ghana, move money from point A to point B. Some of the vans they use, I think all of them, are bulletproof. So let's say even this policeman couldn't help himself and was in the van. The bullets of these robbers couldn't have penetrated the car. So let's look at some of these things. And I believe that the police council should convey an emergency meeting latest by tomorrow to address some of these things. And I'm very happy that the IGP has already written a memo on that effect. I think I heard you reading it. There's a statement that has been issued already. That yes, so it's not about let them wear it or we withdraw them. If you withdraw the policeman, does that mean money is going to move from one bank to the other? No. Well, so let us see to it that these people are doing the right thing. Let us change their guns.
They have had an agreement with the Bankers Association.
Yes.
On certain measures to be taken. It looked as if the banks or the Bankers Association are not making any effort to make sure that those agreed, issues are really taken into consideration. So what they are saying is that they have given them up to June 21st of this month. You see, make sure
that is where I don't agree with you, because let me say I don't agree with the IGP. So, for example, I'm the CEO or the owner of, let's say, Unibank or EcoBank or CBG. Are you telling me it's my responsibility to make sure a policeman is in a protective wear, and that if I don't do that, they're going to withdraw them?
Sometimes it's not just about the protective wear. So even the vehicles.
That is what I'm saying.
That are used.
The supervision of these things should be the police service, not the bank.
But it behoves on the bank to procure a proper bullion van for their services. The police should not procure a bullion van.
So the police,
for the bank.
The police service must make sure that before any of our officers is attached to any van that is transiting money, that van should be a bulletproof van.
Okay.
Number two, talking about bulletproof jackets. If the IGP says that if you don't,
can be stepping down.
Yes. If the IGP says that if you don't allow or if you don't make them wear the bulletproof jackets, we are going to withdraw them. Whose duty is it to make sure that the policemen are actually wearing their bulletproof jackets? I feel like the policemen should know that, as a matter of urgency, it is their life at risk, and that the wearing of the bulletproof jacket should be their responsibility. They should rather insist that, listen, please, maybe Bank A, EcoBank is writing to the stores department of the Ghana Police Service that, listen, we want 5 bulletproof jackets for these 5 policemen who are attached to our headquarters. That is how the system should go. So when these things are given to the police people, then it becomes their responsibility to wear it. But for you to say that the bank must make sure that it's being worn or we withdraw them, I feel it's out of place. Let us make sure
what they have agreed upon.
That's what I'm saying. Based on what I've read,
not necessarily be.
That's what I'm saying. Based on what I've read, based on what I've read, I don't think it is the responsibility of any bank to make sure a policeman is properly dressed for duty. Then the next thing is going to be the duty of the bank to make sure the policeman is actually a policeman, or the policeman is actually with a gun. So I believe that the police service should have internal checks and balances, internal ways where these things can be checked. I don't think it's the duty of the bank in any way. The bank should make sure that they procure bulletproof vans. Yes, I agree. But being dressed for work with your bulletproof jacket, I feel it should be the sole responsibility of the police service.
Let me add this. I would like to add that all the vans that carries monies around, that they call bullion vans, all of them should have, CCTV cameras should be on them 24/7. You understand? If this van were to be having a camera on it, I'm sure they could even use it to identify these people, But lastly, Justice, let us take politics out of the security, our security installations. Let's try our best to ensure that once it's about policing, nobody should put his political spectacles on it. Let's do what is right. Otherwise we'll have police that cannot protect us tomorrow. That is where we are gearing towards. Tomorrow, these police cannot protect us because of our political undertoning in how we recruit them, because of our political undertoning in how we promote them, who becomes regional commander, who becomes divisional commander, and all of that. Let's take politics out of it. The police, I'm also pleading with them. Look, don't look at money.
Let's be more.
We'll die and leave money. They should try and do their work professionally. Let's forget about money. We'll all die. This guy is dead. He's going to bury without a penny. You understand? So the police, they should be professional.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Now, let's move on to our next topic, which I'll start with you, Honorable, once again. And I want to read it briefly. This one is captured by mynewsgh.com. And it says, Nkrumah's lack of vision and planning, cause of Ghana's current rules, ex-President Kufuor. I played the video. He did not specifically mention Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But if you deduce from what he has said, you would know that those things are in reference to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And of course, we would have to deal with this particular topic. It says, former president of Ghana, John Ejikun Kufuor, has blamed Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's rush for industrialization for Ghana's failing fortunes. According to him, instead of the country to plan after independence, the country under Kwame Nkrumah just zoomed into industrialization without any form of plan. Quote, when we gained independence, we just zoomed into industrialization, so we started building factories. If your memories serve you right, in the First Republic, there were several factories scattered across that involved a lot of money. The money which was at the Bank of Ghana, that time were 6 million people in Ghana, and the reserves comparing it to now would have been billions, because in 1957 it was about $450 million. Comparatively, countries that are now being used as an example of development of developed countries like Korea, China, and others could not be compared to us at all. Just 4 years after independence, and even before Ghana's population got to 10 million, all the reserves were gone. This was because we were running. We wanted to build factories, shoe factory, leather factory. We didn't take our time to plan and also make the treasury gain some interest in it. We just started chopping the capital. You don't chop your capital. That is why the economy collapsed. Former President Kufuor said after squandering the country's capital, there was the perception that it was about ideologies, but did not research to know what actually the problems in the country were. He believes that currently the independence of the government for everything in the country is becoming worrying, and there is therefore the need for the private sector to be empowered in order to help address various challenges in the country. And you see, it is as a result of some of these statements, that's why we have the fight back. The fight back. I mean, there will be some revelations in the fight back. I'll be reading 2 pages, some 2 pages to reveal, I mean, some few things on the statement made by former President John Ejikun Kufuor to expose some of the few things he has said actually. So fight back is just 30 Ghana cedis. You can get yourself a copy. They are responses to statements like that of what former President John Ejikun Kufuor has made. But I'll start with you, Honorable, on the issue of the former president, the statement he has made in the said interview.
Thank you, Justice. Let me say that this issue being raised by former President Kufuor, the gentle giant, is, I think, let me say in quotes that is needless. You know, this he just put us in a needless debate that should not have arisen. Okay. You see, he had the opportunity to rule this country for a good 8 years. Kwame Nkrumah, honestly, in my opinion, Kwame Nkrumah is Ghana. In my opinion, because whatever. Many,
you have 20 minutes.
Yes, many of the development that we are still benefiting today is as a result of the visionary leadership of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
Justice, if you cannot, if you build a factory, you employ people. You understand? The factory generates and pay. So it wasn't like Kwame Nkrumah, chopped our money. Nkrumah did not spend our money. Nkrumah was incorruptible. Nkrumah never had any of his siblings in government. Nkrumah didn't build a house for himself anywhere in Ghana here. Nkrumah never, none of his sons bought a hotel when he was president. It didn't happen in this country. Okay. You understand? It didn't happen in this country. Show me any property that is being owned by Kwame Nkrumah. Show me. This was a man who was a man that was sent to us to develop this country. You know, and let me even say that President Kufuor antecedents, they didn't allow this man to actually fulfill his vision for Ghana. And that is even what we are facing today. If Nkrumah were to be allowed to actually do what he was supposed to do, you know, because he had a very good plan for this country. Tell me, what is in Ghana here? Even today.
Briefly, I'll come back to you. Yes, my producer and my producer and then my director, I'm sorry, but you'd have to give me some few time to digest this issue. This is an attack on Nkrumah's integrity. And as you all know, we are Nkrumahs, and we cannot afford to allow some of these issues go down the drain. We have to discuss it to the latter and make sure that the proper education is given to the good people of Ghana. So allow me some few time to be able to digest this issue properly. I'm sorry, but my producer and my director, I'm pleading with you. You can go ahead, Honorable.
Yes, Justice. You have a man who came wholeheartedly from the state to do the politics of this country. The man who believed that Ghanaians, we could do it for ourselves. And when he was given the opportunity to rule this country, nobody saw him, you know, got himself in corruptible activities. No, he did not do that. One, education, he did his best in education, in health, he was superb. Our road network, he planned our harbors and all of that. You can go on scholarship to students and all of that. And Nkrumah was just the best for this country.
Okay.
President Kufuor might have his differences with the regime of Kwame Nkrumah, but I can tell you that Nkrumah is never the problem of this country. Nkrumah, if we were to be able to get Kwame Nkrumah back, I tell you that he will come and fix all our problems for us.
I don't believe that.
I believe that. I believe Kwame Nkrumah could do it for us.
Okay.
You understand? Justice, we are in a country that you have Kwame Nkrumah go to Tech, the University of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. You understand? Go to our port. Look at how Nkrumah planned Tema, the harbor, the motorway. You understand? The hospitals. Tell me, he did what I don't even know how I'll describe this. Even today, I was telling somebody in my office at the Job 600 that this is the vision of Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah built this Job 600. Today, look at the number of MPs, yet all of us can have good offices to sit in. You understand?
Nkrumah didn't build Job 600.
Who built it? He did it. I'm telling you. Nkrumah did. Check. Nkrumah did it. Nkrumah did it. He couldn't finish it, just like he couldn't finish his regime and he was overthrown. That was what happened. If not, he had the vision. Those officers, the way he did it, subsequent governments came and completed it. You understand? But I can tell you that if he had that vision, that our MPs needed to have offices, you understand? Look at the olden parliament where MPs didn't have offices. You go there, you know, when the MPs report to duty, all of them are hanging around. You know, they are hanging around. Some will go and meet constituents in their outside or in their cars. Some will stand at verandas and places to meet there. Now you go to an MP, get to the reception, I want to see this MP, then they tell you, oh, what's the name of the MP? Then a receptionist or a secretary will call. There's this person who wants to see you. They say, oh, come to floor number this, room this. That is Kwame Nkrumah. That is vision. You understand? This is how a visionary leader should lead his country. So I do not.
President John Ejekum Kufuor is of the view that, look, we shouldn't have rushed into industrialization right after independence.
Oh, please. On that premises, even the gentle giant is wrong.
Okay.
Industrialization is what we are lacking today. That is killing us.
Okay.
All the factories that Kwame Nkrumah established, he was overthrown, and people they diverted these things and sold them to their families. That is what is happening. Almost all the factories that Kwame Nkrumah established, when he was overthrown, many other subsequent governments that came, including he, President Kufuor, they sold many of these things to their families.
Anyway.
You understand? Why is Ghana Telecom?
Kufuor sold it to his family?
Huh? You are saying that he sold
it. I didn't say he sold it.
Did he sell Ghana Telecom?
You wait, my brother.
We privatized it. We didn't sell it.
Yes.
No, yes. No, you understand?
What's the difference?
You see, when you have Ghana Telecom,
I'm coming. You want it.
I'll explain to you.
Yes. What I just want to say is that.
Okay.
What I just want to say is that. Look, if you have a president that took over the reign of this country from the white, and within the short time you have the Ghana Film Industries, the Ghana Airways Corporation, the Ghana National Trading Corporation, Cocoa Board Marketing, Temastil Works, Volta Aluminium Company, State Housing and Hotel Projects, the Laboni Estate, Kanda Estate, Ringway Estate, Airport Residential Area, Patas. I can go on and go on and go on. Justice. Go to the hospitality industry. Hotels that Kwame Nkrumah dotted around this country. Many of them today are not being owned by government. Subsequent government came and they sold them to families and cronies. Cabal. That is where we are today. So for me, the gentle giant, I respect his age. I think where he has gotten to, he's ruled this country. People are applauding him today because I always say that the MPP of Kufuor regime is far better than the MPP of Nanado regime. Okay. And I respect him because he did a lot of work. He did his part. But this controversy, he should have spared us this controversy. Okay. It is needless because we believe that Kwame Nkrumah, if he was allowed to rule this country, we will not be where we are today. The man's vision was cut short. Though his vision was even cut short or truncated, what he did within the shortest possible time as a leader of this country, I tell you, it is even the reason why we are still surviving today. Okay. The Tema port is generating a lot for us. Many of the establishment or many of the facilities he established, Nkrumah made sure that these factories were to generate, they were to generate and pay. You understand? Look, industrialization is what we are lacking today. Before 2016 elections, you had one district, one factory. Exactly. How many of them did they establish proper factories that could employ even 5 people? How many? Even in 2016, yes. 2016, those were the promises.
You've not drank equal juice before.
You understand? I'm just telling you that if Nkrumah in those days had the vision to establish those factories that he did, and today, we are struggling to establish one proper factory. And these people are the ones that want to condemn that the man didn't have a vision for this country. No, we cannot accept that. We cannot. Kwame Nkrumah, if we had allowed Kwame Nkrumah, I tell you that, look, justice, the problem of this country is leadership problem. Okay. Leadership, corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians, that is the problem of Ghana. You understand? Everybody wants to be rich within the shortest possible time. People who have the opportunity to be in power, they want their families to live some kind of luxurious lives to the detriment of the poor, to the detriment of development for our people. That is where we are getting to. I think President Kufuor should have been talking about that. If people are calling for, the current president to fix the country, and President Kufuor is saying that the country was already like that, then why did they campaign for political power? Why did he ask for political office to be president of this country? Because he felt that he could fix the problems of this country. So probably if he felt that he failed, he couldn't do it. We are calling on the President Nanado to fix the country so that police officers will not be shot dead needlessly. You understand? Yeah. So that Dumso, we don't want it. Our roads are bad. Those are the things we are calling on the president to fix. So President Kufuor should not be telling us that these problems were already there. If the problems were already there, why did we remove Kwame Nkrumah? Why did we overthrow him? Okay. Why did we send him to exile? And all of that. So I'm saying that all these things that we are discussing, this is needless. It's needless. You should spare us the needless debate. But the fact remains that Kwame Nkrumah record, as far as development is concerned, I don't see what president after him that come closer. You understand? Very well. Maybe John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you so much. You see, once again to our viewers, Nana, please let me do something briefly before I come. Once again to our viewers, this is feedback.
You changed his record. All right, I'm sorry. At the mention of John Mahama,
don't worry, I'll come to you and then you respond to that.
Okay, sure.
But
No problem.
For the sake of our viewers,
I'm
this
happy you
is
brought it at
Fight Back, a response to anti-Nkrumah provocations. And the provocations we are talking about are some of these statements made by ex-President John Agyekum Kufuor. And if you take this book, the issue actually raised by President John Agyekum Kufuor is captured in it. Let me read just first page and second page for our viewers and come to Nana. It says, anti-Nkrumah lies, falsehood and propaganda. Written by Michael Nono. And the introduction says, my intention in this piece is to confront the lies, unfounded falsehoods, and the veiled propaganda against Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah by Matimiho ideologues. I intend to use secondary sources and official statistics to confront the oft-repeated lies about the Nkrumah regime. By all accounts, these sources have a semblance of detached independence from the bigotry and ideological bias that have become symptomatic of political journalism in Ghana. And it says the first one he tackled is Ghana was a prosperous country at the time of independence. That was actually debunked, and this is what he said about that. Prosperity is a deceptive term that denotes affluence or success. Yukandi G. Damachi Development Path in China and Africa. Yukandi G. Damachi, Guy Roop, and Abdi Rahman E. Ali Taha, 1976, describes the socio-economic conditions on the eve of political independence. Thus, many Ghanaians were living at extreme poverty level. Education, health service, housing, and social security were all at very rudimentary stages, and illiteracy was prevalent. The government, therefore, had the responsibility of raising the living standards of Ghanaians by promoting social and economic development. So this is in response to claims by those ideologues, the Matimiho people, who are saying that Ghana was a prosperous country at the time of independence. Now, let me deal with the issue raised by former President John Agyekum Kufuor, and that issue was about the lies, the propaganda, the falsehoods that were bandied around, that the British left a lot of money before leaving. It was never true. And this is it. It says all kinds of figures have been bandied about the amount of money the British left Ghana in 1957. In fact, what the Matimiho people described as huge monies left by British were first the accumulation of cocoa surplus, known as Cocoa Marketing Board sterling reserves, and second, export duties on cocoa, also known as Ghana government holdings in sterling securities. Thus, at the time of independence, there were the two foreign reserves held by Ghana at the Bank of England, which were very often used by Britain to support the pound sterling in time of financial crisis. Nkrumah did not touch these foreign reserves until 1960. So listen clearly. Now, these paragraphs are very interesting, and I would want to read these paragraphs and come to Nana. It says, the finances of the first development plan, 1951 to 1956, by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, costing 93.3 million euro, came from cocoa and internally generated sources, such as indirect taxes and duties. The second development plan, which continued from 1959 to 1964, was financed from the free reserves of 50 million euro from government holdings in sterling securities, 25 million euros from Cocoa Marketing Board sterling reserves, and 50 million from internal revenue, totaling 90 million euros. The balance of 260 million came from foreign resources and deficit financing. In a treatise on the agrarian basis of the post-colonial state for the period of 1951 to 1978, John Beckman, Judith Heyer, and et al., Rural Development in Tropical Africa, point out that Nkrumah relied initially on reserves and later on foreign and local borrowing, including monetary expansion. So where is the huge sum of money that the British left Ghana in 1957 as a colonizing power? Britain was never benevolent to have left Ghana money to take care of itself after independence. Indeed, no colony the world over has benefited from the luxury of an imperial power leaving tons of money for reconstruction and development after colonial pillage. The French, as is well known, stripped Guinea naked, taking away everything including bulbs, tables and chairs, carpets, etc. Kwame Nkrumah recklessly mismanaged the economy after independence. That is one of the falsehoods bandied around, that if you get the book, you are able to get responses to all these things. But I sort of tried to, you know, expose the falsehoods, the propaganda and all of that bandied around, that the British left Ghana a lot of money, Kwame Nkrumah misused or mismanaged the money and all of that, went to industrialization. That has been the problem of the country as it stands. So unfortunately, if you get yourself a copy of the Fight Back, which is just 30 Ghana cedis, you get all the responses accordingly. We won't sit and allow some group of people to tarnish the image of Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So now let me come to you on the
thank you very much. First of all, I would like to know who is the author of this book.
Well, I told you, Fight Back, compiled by the Socialist Forum of Ghana.
You know, first of all, what I want to say is that I know where I sit now. I know the leadership and ownership.
Unfortunately,
where I sit now.
You cannot attack
I'm
the
very
ownership.
careful. No, I'm not attacking. Far from that. I've never attacked anybody in my life.
Exactly.
Both verbally, physically. So I know what I'm saying. I'm only saying that I know where I sit. So it's very difficult. And actually, when you told me about the topic, I felt it wasn't a good topic for me to come and discuss, especially to discuss it here.
It wasn't.
First of all,
a falsehood. Your people are
no. If you say my people, first of all, I would say that President Kufuor's statement has been taken out of context. Okay. First of all, I sat today at Job 600 and listened to the whole interview, including where he went to even plant the tree. I watched everything. Never did he say that Kwame Nkrumah was visionless. Number two, never did he say that the British left us tons of money. Though I believe it's true. Never did he say that in that interview. That's the second thing.
The reserves he talked about. What was he talking about?
You let me land.
He talked about reserves.
You hold on, let me land.
Right after independence.
I feel
it's been reserves. Former President John Ejekun Kufuor talked about.
Let me land. When Kwame Nkrumah took over from the British,
you didn't answer my question.
I am leading to my question.
John Ejekun Kufuor talked about some foreign reserves.
You see,
and all of that.
The first thing you need to realize is that
if not those monies the book has talked about.
The first thing, we are not discussing the book.
That's what I'm talking.
Let me land.
Expose some of those.
You hold on, let me land.
You're attacking some of the things captured in the book.
I have not read the book.
Okay.
In fact, I couldn't even pay attention to even 1% of what you read in the book.
That's all right. You
I'm being honest.
pay attention, my brother.
But I'm only saying that I'm not here to defend President Kufuor. That's the point. What President Kufuor said is not the position of the MPP. That's the second thing we need to understand. For me, I feel we don't even need to discuss in the first place. I believe the British left us some money. I believe when the British were leaving, we had some very good industries, some very good corporations. We had some money. We had some foreign reserves. As a matter of fact, I believe that it is only President Kwame Nkrumah that met a Ghana without debt. Because when we were leaving, what was Ghana's debt when we were leaving? He's the only president. Unless the book is telling us otherwise. That's why I asked you, I started by asking you, who is the author of the book? And especially I told you that because of where I sit, I wouldn't want to even get in there. Now let me go on to the issues.
Go ahead.
Now, my brother here made mention, either you or my brother made mention of the fact that Kwame Nkrumah came voluntarily from England or America or something. You see, these things that we are calling fallacy are actually the truth.
What was that?
Kwame Nkrumah was actually brought to Ghana to be secretary of something. Let us just
yeah, we know that.
Yes. So are you hold on. Are you going to return from a country to your own country and become secretary of something you started? It just tells you that some people must have started the thing, and he was brought in because of probably his intellect, because he was bright, because he was knowledgeable, to be secretary of the group.
What was the attitude of those people against Nkrumah when they brought him?
You see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not discussing. Why would I want to go into the attitude of the people?
But
I'm only saying that let us debunk this issue of Nkrumah came and started the movement. No.
Nobody talked about Nkrumah starting.
No, I know. You see, all the things you read here, nobody said it here.
We are talking about.
But you read it in respect of something. I'm here representing the New Patriotic Party.
Okay.
So let me speak some of the things that
the New Patriotic Party represents a tradition, and that is the Matimiho ideologues.
You see, I wish I wouldn't go there. I wish.
Okay.
I wish I wouldn't go there. Let us leave that behind. But you see, what President Kufuor was saying is that there are things that, as a country, we are forcing to do that sometimes cost us more than we think.
So what was wrong?
You see, justice. Let me go on.
Let's for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
If I go on, you will understand me.
Right after
that is exactly what I'm. That is what I'm explaining. You take your time. You're going to understand.
Go ahead.
For example, I am a member of the NPP, a proud member. In fact, do you know that the free SHS policy, though is very good, is costing us so much because a lot of money is going into it. So we are left with very little to do other things. So in 30 years to come, or 50 years to come, if I'm a former president and I'm being interviewed, I can say that Ghana lost free SHS because as at that time, the money that went into free SHS could have done so many things. But because we wanted to do it, we have seen it done elsewhere. Because we feel it will be good for us, let us do it. Or because it's a political promise, let us do it now. So that people will know that we have done it. We have rushed it. So that is the idea President Kufuor was trying to communicate to Kofi Adoma. Not to say that Nkrumah didn't have a vision or rush industrialization.
Did he say these things before we end the discussion? Did he say these things? When we gained independence,
no, I'm not being allowed to say anything.
This is in quote, and I want to, read the quotation. I'll be wrapping up pretty shortly, very soon. When we gained independence,
2 minutes.
We just zoomed into industrialization, so we started building factories. If your memory serves you right, in the First Republic, there were several factories scattered across. That involved a lot of money. The money which was at the Bank of Ghana, that time we were 6 million people in Ghana, and the reserves comparing it to now would have been billions because in 1957 it was about 250 million people. Comparatively, countries that... So the question I'm asking is that what was wrong with Nkrumah embarking on industrialization right after independence? That the former president, John Ejekun Kufuor, feels today that we have rushed the industrialization of this country.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
That is what is his crimes about the
I don't represent
industrialization of the country.
I'm not defending what Kufuor said. I'm not representing Kufuor here. Because what he said has been taken out of context. He was talking about capitalism and socialism. If you listen to the pretext of the conversation he was having, he was saying that Ghana should have gone into more capitalism. When I listened to it, that's what I deduced from it. We should go into more capitalism. Private people should own property. He made mention of
capitalism is the problems of the world today. If you don't know, I would want to tell you.
I don't believe in that.
Capitalism.
That's what I'm saying. That let us leave that
problem today.
Justice, you have to allow me to go to all ahead. He made mention of Nkrumah being the best president, probably Muhammad being the next. I have so many to say.
Okay.
You are not allowing me to say.
Go ahead and let's go.
Let's
wrap up.
He said that we are focused on things we were not ready for as at that time. That is President Kufuor's president. You see, our former president John Mahama said something. He said that if you have not been president before, it's difficult to criticize the president because there are things that he would know and see when he is president that you wouldn't know. What President Kufuor is saying has nothing to do with saying that I'll be belittling Nkrumah. That warrants bringing of a whole book to read some of the things that
it sounds more
a whole tradition.
Nkrumah was actually belittled anyway.
No. I believe that the whites left us money.
That was never
true. They left us ships.
That was never true.
No, it's very true. That's what I'm saying, that we could sit here all day and argue with you and I were not there. This was written by somebody who thinks he was privy to that information. Listen, I live in Tema. I saw the Black Star Line, which they left for us. It was never started by Ghanaians. These were things by the white people, Ave Maria and all those things. Black Star Line. It was studied by the whites. And they left it for us. They didn't take their ships away. So if they're telling they only leave Nkrumah money because it's been written in the book, I beg to differ. But you see, I don't want to. You know, but I'm giving you evidence that they left Black Star Line for us. My grandparents went there. They left Black Star Line. We had ships there. What happened to them? Nkrumah bought the ships when he was president. That's what I'm saying. Let us not get into this issue of trying to raise the who is better than the other. It doesn't help. Nkrumah built the motorway. He built Akosombo. He built the port and all that. And all of that. What was the population as at that time? That's what President Ford was saying. What was the population? Compared to the resources he had, you never heard of the fact that Nkrumah took money to other African countries to help them. Wait a minute.
Nkrumah with his vision,
is it in the book?
Nkrumah with his vision knew that one day we may, probably, get oil in this country. Built Tor. I don't know if you're going to give me time and all of that. No, wait a minute. We'll be wrapping up pretty short.
So you have to allow me to go. Well, I even want to ask you a question. Did you ever hear, or is it written in the book, that Nkrumah ever took money that belonged to Ghana to help other African countries? Did you ever hear of it? Even today. Hold on. Wait a minute. I know where I was.
You are talking about the gaming issue. Let me
tell you something. That this is somebody's thinking that has been put in the book. And that is why I told you that I wish I wouldn't go on this topic. Because I know where I sit.
Some of you hate the fact. No, it's not. The fact is captured.
It is not true.
Once I want to read from the book, somebody has written the book.
It is not true. To the extent that my brother even put ex-president John Mahama as the second best president of this country. And after that he was laughing. How was that? You were laughing. Even now you are laughing. Even now you are laughing. You are also laughing. I'm not.
But who tells that line was built by the whites?
I'm saying that.
It wasn't built by the whites.
Let us assume without admitting. I'm saying my grandparents were there. Let us assume without admitting that it wasn't built by the whites. Hold on. Let us draw conclusions.
Let's educate us.
That's what we are doing. Let us
even more intelligent than us.
I'm saying let us take it easy and educate Ghanaians. Or let us even hear from them. Listen, the point is that I'm saying that before Nkrumah came, Black Star Line was there. So who built it? Nkrumah brought it from London.
When was Black Star Line built?
I don't know, but I'm telling you, I know people that work in Black Star Line. So I'm telling you that there were corporations that Nkrumah came and were already established. I wish I could hear the part that Nkrumah never took money outside Ghana.
No, wait a minute. There's a response to that particular one. Unless you don't want me to give you the response.
No, it's not the whole time. The time you gave my colleague here, if you could give me the same, I don't have a problem.
We have to see. So let me wrap up for me then.
When President Kufuor privatized Ghana Telecom, you see, I heard you talk about it, and I was even sad. Even today, I am in support of a lot of corporations being privatized because of the way we handle government business in this country.
It is because of the attitude of the New Patriotic Party and your tradition and where you are coming from.
I'm sad you are saying this as a journalist.
And I have to say, no, it's the truth.
I'm sad you are saying this. I'm sad you are saying this. And you see, a moderator of the show. He had said it. I will be fine. That is fine.
So anything against it?
No. You see. That is why I have a problem.
I'll definitely be back.
That is why I have a problem with you. You are an Nkrumahist.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that on the show you should be biased towards somebody who is not an Nkrumahist.
Oh, why? When the person is trying to distort facts.
Oh, no. Justice, believe you me. I knew you were an Nkrumahist before you told me. You don't need to tell me. I know where you sit. I know where you work. So I know what is going on.
It's not just working with Pan-African TV.
I know.
Me being a Nkrumah.
I'm saying I know. But you prove to me that Nkrumah never sent any dime.
There's a response in this.
I'll give you my time. Wait a minute. I'll give you my time.
Our time is even already up.
I'm giving you my time. You read it.
I don't have the.
We are forwarding source.
Our time is actually.
You're forwarding source. You know, this same person who is talking about privatization and talking about capitalism that we are here bombarding is the same person that brought some of the most powerful, what do you call it, government policies that help the masses. Let's talk about what do you call it, metro mass transit. Let's talk about national health insurance scheme. Let's talk about policies that help the masses. It's this same man that today we are taking is a capitalism and that hate socialism and all that. This man is the man who has brought the most widely affected government policies in this country.
Thank you so much for.
If you mention Mahama, then I will laugh.
No, we have to get going. Honorable, I don't know what you want.
No, if you are giving time again,
I'm not going to talk about
it. No, if you give time again, it's unfair.
To express my condolences to one of my chiefs, the chief of Tuopare, now Professor Banoe Yakubu, who lost the son on the 26th of June 2020. My condolences to him and the entire family for the loss. We lost Marcus on that day, and I know the family is in grief. I'm expressing my condolences to Professor Na Banoe Yakubu, who was the Chief Director for Lands and Natural Resources, now back in the University of Ghana, you know, as a consultant. My condolences to him and the family.
And as I also end, I would like to just talk about the fact that my brother was saying that we had sold so many government properties to ourselves.
We are done with that.
If it comes to sale of properties, I think the NDC should buy their head in shape.
No,
to talk about the defense, I don't want to go there.
You're all guilty. You're all guilty of selling Nkrumah's.
No.
On that one, doesn't say we are all guilty.
Anyway,
but you people are the more. You are capitalists. You live in property. We are not property.
If you want a copy,
we are socialists.
Let me just sell this book a bit. If you want a copy of the fight back, which is a response to anti-Nkrumah provocations, response to some of the statements made like the former president did, you get yourself a copy of this book. The issue of, Nkrumah, taking money from Ghana to support Guinea and all of that, responses are here in this book. In fact, this is a history book. This sits to correct. This sits to correct the distorted history and all of that. This sits to correct the provocations that the Matimihu ideologues, the third tradition, is trying to project actually. So get yourself a copy. Get yourself a copy of this book, which is just 30 Ghana cedis. You can contact me on 0240-748-8782. 0240-748-8782, and get yourself a copy. If you want to distribute it to, we have a lot. If you call me, we'll see how best we schedule for you to get it. I'll be unable to read your messages. I have a lot of messages here, both on the WhatsApp line and on Facebook, but kindly forgive me for not being able to read your messages. We've overspent our time. Make a time with us same time tomorrow. But tomorrow, the discussion on the statement made by